Hello everyone, Dunkurtin here, and welcome to the winners bracket of round 4 of the Nita Cup 750k-5. This is basically our first semi-final round, as basically all we have left from here is the loser of this match going up against the winner of the next losers bracket, and then the winner of that match will go up against the winner of this match for the final, if that all makes sense. So yeah. So just want to quickly, as we are getting right to the end now, just want to do a quick recap and recognition of who is actually responsible for our vehicles. So like just go back over, let everyone know who built what and that. So we have the Borg Cube, which is still undefeated, and that was submitted by Ryashon from the Imperial Republic of Arbor. And our other currently undefeated model is of course the Shoebox, which was made by CERN from the Stormwatch. So that's who we have as our two league contenders at the moment, and let's see who can continue their streak of being undefeated. Alright guys, here we go with our first round of this matchup. This should be an interesting matchup. We got the Shoebox spawning in second. I believe this is the first matchup that we have two vehicles that are both primarily lasers going head to head. I mean, the Shoebox did have all those missiles that it fired off at the start, but I'm fairly sure the majority of its damage when it gets the attack angle is from these front lasers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this matchup. Though it looks like the Borg Cube may have done some early damage and got itself an early advantage. The Shoebox is going down fast. It is missing half of its jets there. So this does not look good for the Shoebox right now. Yeah, just... oh. Okay, yeah, it's got a nice big hole in the top there. It's not... okay, that's underwater. I'm going to give it its minute timer to see if it can repair enough to resurface, though I am not hopeful, but this was a pretty quick match so far, so I can definitely afford to give it that timer. Got a big explosion going on somewhere, I'm assuming down on the Shoebox. Yeah, it looks like the Shoebox is pretty well completely gutted right now. That was pretty brutal. We've still got like 30 seconds left on that timer, but it's definitely not worth waiting for that. So, first match does go to the Borg Cube. Let's see if the Shoebox can do any better when spawning in first. Alright guys, here we go with the Borg Cube loading in second. We already have an early explosion. Looks like it may have been on the back of the Shoebox. However, the Shoebox was getting some lasers off, I'm pretty sure, at the start. Seems to be on a long delay for the Shoebox's lasers though. But the Borg Cube is losing power. Those lasers definitely getting through and doing some damage this time. Perhaps that explosion actually was on the Borg Cube. Shoebox is definitely doing much better having spawned in first and not getting its jets taken out really early. Actually getting to shoot its lasers a fair bit more. And lasers would definitely have to be the Bog Cube's weakness, I would say. It does not appear to have any smoke. Its shields and the spin armor glitch that I've found out recently, been told about that it's actually using, do not really do much to negate laser damage. It only works for explosive damage, so right now it looks like the shoebox might have the advantage, but we do know that the Borg Cube is a hardy design and very difficult to actually take down. Like, whoop, bit too close to those missiles. Yeah, it's got a lot of holes in it, but actually taking it down completely is another matter altogether. Though it appears to have lost all of its shields, which means it's out of power, which means it cannot shoot its lasers. We'll be relying solely on its missiles right now, which do not appear to be firing. Looks like the shoebox may have taken this round, as it should continue to put that consistent damage on to the Borg Cube with these lasers and not let it repair. Just gonna let this play out for a while, guys. Ooh, and there we go. The outer armor of the Borg Cube is gone. We get a rare view of what is going on inside there. Don't really know exactly what I'm looking at here, to be honest. But yeah, that is it. The Borg Cube has been completely annihilated. As per usual, for the third round, I will be spawning them an extra long distance away from each other so that they both have a really good chance to get in good positions for their first attack runs. So it'll be very interesting to see who takes this tiebreaker and goes on to the grand final undefeated. Alright, so here we go with the final matchup of this round. Despite spawning the shoebox in with the Borg Cube barely in sight, the Borg Cube has immediately opened fire on it with its lasers, and there was a small explosion there. But the almost called it the parallel the shoebox. Sorry, son. The shoebox has started returning fire pretty well immediately. So it's just a matter of whose lasers hit something vital first, I think. The shoebox's lasers seem to be on a longer delay, but they also look like they might be a little bit more powerful if the intensity kind of the beam is anything to go by, and considering the number of lasers that the shoebox is splitting its power between. So I'm not really seeing... I think the Borg Cube's laser system has taken some damage somewhere, because I'm not seeing any lasers that appear to be coming off the Borg Cube right now. It's still got its shields though, so it has not lost power. Just taken damage to a vital laser component by the looks of things. While it's still launching its missiles, though they do not seem to be able to catch the shoebox. Maybe... no, not quite. Meanwhile, there's an explosion going on somewhere. It has to be inside the Borg Cube. We can just see that shockwave coming out. Another explosion in that corner there. This could be it. The dreaded Borg Cube could have met its match. Is that the Borg Cube opening fire now? Okay, yeah, one of those lasers is coming from the Borg Cube, but the other two, I believe, are coming from the shoebox. And now nothing is coming from the Borg Cube once again. It's still got a little bit of shielding. Not much though, so it's not generating anywhere near as much power as it would like to be. Though the shoebox did fly into some of those missiles, not taking any serious damage though, not enough to save the Borg Cube by the looks of things. So it looks like the shoebox pretty well has lasers on all sides. Kinda just like the Borg Cube. It's got it's got lasers on all sides, not on top though by the looks of it. And the Borg cube has once again lost its outer armor, and the shoebox just taking care of that tiny little bit that's inside. A nice big explosion there to finish it off. And there we have it, the Borg cube has finally been brought down by the shoebox from CERN, who will be going on to the grand final now, while we have a match coming up now immediately as our losers B bracket will be going on to. So next up we have the Parallel Almace versus the Hurricane. Alright guys, so here we have the Hurricane, a joint effort by Solasphere and Kaz from the Stormwatch, going up against the Parallel Almace from Kuruma Fox. And the winner of this match will go on to verse the Borg Cube, or in the case of the Hurricane, to have a rematch against the Borg Cube if it wins. So we got an explosion going on just at the back of the Hurricane there. Doesn't look like anything too major, just maybe some jets or a missile turret perhaps. Meanwhile, all these missiles from the Hurricane struggling to really get any contact on the Almace that I've managed to see so far. So what's going on? How's the Almace going with its cannon shots? Not tracking too well either, is it? Getting some shots on the top there. Only 1 or 2 bullets actually getting through the shielding though, by the looks of things. While also managing to outrun all these missiles by the looks of it. Oh, we have a large explosion down on the Hurricane. Right at the back there. Has brought it down into the water, but of course it's just deploying its balloons, regaining some altitude. Was a good opportunity for the Almace to land some artillery though. It's still got most of its top shielding intact though, so I'm not sure how much is actually getting through. Almace close enough to drop its bombs, and wow, look at the laser defense on the Hurricane. It took all of them out in just one burst. That is insane. Still not having much luck landing its missiles. Oh! Looks like that barrage landed fairly well on the bottom of the Almace. Not seeing too much major damage though. I think a few missiles missing from that missile rack. Meanwhile, on the Hurricane... Okay, so these balloons appear to be set to stick around until they're blown off. A lot of designs that use this kind of balloon method have a second ACB that kind of just detaches them once you reach your desired altitude again, so that they're ready to be immediately redeployed if you get shot back down. They've decided to keep the balloons deployed to give the craft plenty of time to actually repair to keep at that altitude. Meanwhile, the Parallel Almace has lost its jets to one of those last salvos of missiles and is now down, and a sitting duck for the Hurricane to just circle around and bombard. Just a lot of missiles coming in now, slowly eating away at the side and back of the Almace. I feel like that this is a really good shot there. I've been really lazy with not doing thumbnails and that, but if I remember later, hopefully that will be the thumbnail for this video, because I don't know, I just really like that view of the Parallel Almace kind of being blown apart and the Hurricane just coming in. Yeah, I thought it looked really cool. So it looks like the Hurricane has taken this round and is on course to have its rematch with the Borg Cube. Okay, so I let that play out for a fair while, just to be 100% sure that the Almace was down for the count. And I'm pretty confident that it now is, so We will be going on to the second round of this matchup now. Alright guys, here we go once again. Parallel Almos spawning in second this time. Unfortunately, I had an issue with my recording setup and lost the footage for the first time doing this battle, so I'm actually re-recording it. Hopefully we have a pretty similar turnout. Sorry, I actually lost the ending footage of the first match as well, but it was pretty well over with where I got up to, and thankfully I have the narration, so you probably just watched a black screen for a while there with me talking. So you know what happened. The Hurricane did take the first match, and now is going at it again to see if it can have its rematch with the ball cube in the next round. So we saw a lot of those missiles connecting at the front there on the parallel Almos. Still flying pretty well, but looks like it did take a lot of damage at the front there. Meanwhile, the Hurricane is doing a pretty good job dodging most of these bullets from the parallel Almos, though those missiles are connected. Both craft flying still quite well. I don't think that barrage of missiles is going to catch up with the Almos though. So it looks like we have some shields flickering and missing on the front of the Hurricane, but it looks like they just came back up. And the Almos, yeah, it looks like most of his shields are still there too. Its shields. So they're just kind of flying in circles right now and slowly seeing who can do more damage to the other. It looks like the Hurricane lost a lot of altitude there. It has not gone down though. It's living on. The anti-missile lasers really going to work here. It's not shooting any missiles of its own at the moment, however. Must have taken some damage to its AI. See if it can get those systems back up and running before it's too late. Sorry, got to get rid of the UI for you guys. I'm not really sure what's going on here. The Almos is circling really wide now for some reason. Still firing off its missiles though. Looks like the Hurricane has got some of its missiles back up and functioning as well though. Really not sure what happened there with why the Almos is just circling so wide and didn't come back in for another attack run. Mind you, it's definitely seems to be staying out of danger by staying at such a long distance at the moment. I don't think these front missile racks are fully functional at the moment, and that's why we're not seeing any large volleys coming from the Hurricane, I believe. Or perhaps it's just staying at the edge of its range. That could be it, but no, I'm fairly sure it usually would have fired a full barrage if it was in perfect condition at the moment. So yeah, the Hurricane not really able to put out too much damage at the moment, and unfortunately for it, continuously just taking a slow stream of missiles to those front missile racks, which is preventing it from really repairing them up and really limiting how much firepower it has to put out with these back missiles not firing for whatever reason. Let this play out for a while and see what happens. Alright, so we have a large explosion at the back of the Hurricane. Looks like it's lost a large section of its back there. And is going down. Has the Almace managed to dash the Hurricane's dreams of facing off with the Borg cube again? Oh, a lot of damage coming in. Looks like some of that Ducker is finally landing now. This balloon's making it a little bit difficult to see exactly what's going on, but as we can see, the Hurricane is currently just a husk, a shadow of its former self, as the parallel Almace continues to just unload this constant barrage, just chipping slowly away at what is left here. Alright guys, that looks pretty definitive. It looks like we'll be going on to a third tiebreaker round between these two. Let's see who can take it in our third match. Alright guys, here we go. As always with jawbreaker matches, I've spawned them at extreme range from each other to give both craft time to attain their desired cruising heights and line up their first attack runs. Got a lot of Ducker coming in, but it looks like that entire volley of missiles from that first attack run connected on the Almace. A lot of those bombs, however, from the Almace landing on top of the Hurricane. Looks like it's losing a lot of height. It seems to do this a lot on its first attack run. It'll go down, use its balloons to get back up, and then keep a few of its balloons and kind of fly mostly, I guess, with their aid. So as we can see, this time around the front racks for the Hurricane still intact. However, it is trying to shoot its missiles so they chase the rear end of the Almace, which is not going to work for it. It needs to use its augmented prediction missiles to have its missiles intercept the front of the Almace if possible. A few missiles from the Almace coming in to the front of the Hurricane now. Has not disabled the missile launchers yet, but it is definitely doing some work on the Hurricane right now. As you can see, just all these missiles just dropping out of the sky, nowhere near the parallel Almace. This largely depend on how straight a run the Almace does now that it's turning. If it continues to circle wide, Hurricane will have a lot of difficulty landing some good hits. The Hurricane also seems to be having some issues with targeting the correct missiles with its own anti-missile lasers at the moment. Unfortunately, it continues to fly head-on into parallel Almace's missiles while the Almace just constantly runs from the Hurricane's own missiles. I don't know if there was a small update to the game, but this is not at all how this played out the first time around. So this is going to be interesting to see how things pan out. Okay, that looked like the Hurricane's chance to land some good damage on the Almace, and it seems to have let it go by pretty well without taking any real advantage of it. I mean, it looked like we got a few hits on there, but nothing major. That right there could very well cost the Hurricane this entire match. Okay, that time around looks like it did much better. In fact, looks like both crafts actually got a lot of damage on each other, except that, the Almace has lost its shields, which means it is probably losing power, which will be slowing it down. Yet it is dropping out of the sky right now. And those cannons still going to work though. If they're doing good damage, it could come back, but no, it looks like the Almace has done its dash in this competition by the looks of things. I have spoken a little bit too soon. Just regained power as it went down, and I'd be surprised if it's flying at full capability. Might be stuck in a spin by the looks of things. But if it can avoid most of these initial missiles, which the tightness of its spin is definitely helping with, just kind of do or die right now. Unfortunately it's gone down, and most of these missiles will now connect. And now it is down in the water, complete sitting duck for this constant barrage of missiles. This is what happened in the first matchup. It took a little while for the Hurricane to finish it off. However, once in this position, the Almace is pretty well defenseless. He's lost his last top cannon just then. So for some reason, a lot of these missiles actually missing. Just kind of all scattering everywhere in the water around the Almace. Which isn't really a threat to it because it does not appear to be moving at all. This is pretty well over. Just need the Hurricane to make some final connections before I call it. Here we go, one last barrage coming in. Alright, that looks pretty conclusive to me. The parallel Almace will be dropping out of the competition at this late point. Thank you very much, Kuruma Fox, for the submission. And thank you everyone who, of course, bowed out of the tournament earlier. I appreciate all the submissions. But I feel congratulations are in order for Kuruma Fox for officially getting 4th place in this tournament. Congratulations. And next episode we will see the Hurricane have its rematch with the Borg Cube. And then, of course, depending on how long that takes, we might also do the final in the same episode. I don't know. Maybe I'll split it into 2 20-minute episodes and do a little less time-lapsing and just really let the action play out for the finals. We'll see what happens. But until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, appreciate the feedbacks. Leave comments, go post on the forum. Wherever you want to get in contact with me, that's fine. If you are not active on the forum and haven't seen it yet, I've also announced that I will, probably in about 2 weeks' time, be doing a follow-up tournament, which will be a Drone Master tournament. The limit is 500,000 RP and 3,000 blocks. And you must use at least 3 different craft. You're allowed to have a mothership, which is up to 1,500 blocks. And then your drones are allowed to be no larger than 500 blocks. So if you haven't seen that already, go check that out on the forum. I'll put the link in the description. Otherwise, catch you guys all next time.